Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar. Today's topic will be about the role of drones in the AEC industry. We'll be covering some new announcements, some new technology, and we'll have an opportunity for some questions towards the end. I encourage you all to ask questions as we go along in the questions box in the control panel. I'd personally like to thank you all for joining this afternoon, and I hope you enjoy the session. So let's take a look at today's presenters. Firstly, you have myself. I'm Rob Nichols, and I'm one of the AEC sales leads here at ESRI UK. We will be hearing from Ben, who will give an introduction to the company HELIGUY and what value they bring to those of you flying drones or wanting to make better use of them. And finally, we'll be seeing some of ESRI's new technology in action from my colleague Nico from ESRI Inc. So let's take a quick look at the agenda. We've already done the top one, so we can tick that off. Next up, I'll be briefly talking about SiteScan for ArcGIS, and then I'll outline our new partnership with HELIGUY before I let Ben take the reins. After that, we'll have Nico with some demonstrations of the software in action. Then I'll share with you some resources that might come in handy, and we'll then close with some of your questions. Last year, ESRI announced its acquisition of SiteScan, a leading technology in the drone market. This expanded ESRI's drone imagery offering and completed a workflow which previously would have been tiresome. We now have a complete end-to-end workflow from planning your drone flights to processing the imagery data and then running the post-analysis, all within the ArcGIS ecosystem. The technology now offers scalable solutions for our customers, ranging from small operators to enterprise-wide drone deployments. Interestingly, on a recent Forbes article, it stated that the global market for drone technologies is valued at around $14 billion, and this is expected to be tripled by 2024. Even with all this enthusiasm, drones remain somewhat of a niche technology for businesses, yet with the right technology and the right applications, drones can deliver strategic and competitive advantages. So what does that mean for the AEC market? More and more, we are seeing the use of smart technology burst onto the scene, from accessing BIM models natively in your GIS through to the advances of indoor mapping. The use of drones is no different. Drones now enable all of you to plan, track, and make better decisions on your projects. It allows you to capture in 2D and 3D with a level of detail and interaction that just wasn't possible in the 2D world alone. The imagery captured from each type of drone can be viewed individually or combined for a holistic view. If questions arise about a particular section of site or maybe what was accomplished on a particular day, the user can roll back the timeline to view drone imagery taken on that day and from any angle if needed. In a field in which countless hours and millions of pounds are lost due to late designs, disorganization, and frankly poor communication, the integration of these digital tools can shift the construction industry into this better way of working. In short, the use of drones is expanding to not only collecting data for site surveys, but tracking and monitoring those projects throughout their life cycle. Now, before I pass across to Ben, I just wanted to highlight some real customers that are applying these capabilities to their work. PCL Construction is a company based in Canada. They had a project in Florida to build a lagoon for a subdivision. With traditional survey techniques, doing a construction survey of this size would have taken about a day and a half. But with SiteScan, it took just 10 minutes. Because of the success on this one project, SiteScan is now deployed across the business. Over 32 drone pilots flying around 100 flights a month. A great example. Arcadis, an engineering firm a bit closer to home in London, however, their project wasn't. They were in charge of building, or they are in charge of building, Qatar's 14-lane motorway. As they build the road, they're constantly flying drones and processing the imagery using SiteScan. This allows them to keep their data up to date, so they can keep track of the as-built reality and compare it with their planned designs. SiteScan is being used in Norway, where Skanska are finding that integrating their drone programs is becoming a common practice now. They are able to compare before and after shots and see, in near real time, the advancements in this really interesting project. I've talked briefly about 3 examples at global scale. Before I move on to introduce Ben, I just wanted to introduce the HELIGUY relationship. So as mentioned, SiteScan is being used at a global scale, and we've been unable really to explore these solutions here in the UK. But with the HELIGUY announcement, this is now going to change. Last month, we've officially partnered with HELIGUY. This alliance will combine HELIGUY's drone services, such as the supply of the drone hardware and the associated training consultancy, coupled with ESRI's ArcGIS drone software. With both organisations having considerable experience with the AEC market here in the UK, this partnership is going to offer a compelling solution to AEC firms through an integrated and scalable workflow. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ben from HELIGUY. Ben is a qualified land surveyor with a degree in GIS. Throughout his career, and most particularly in his current role at HELIGUY, his aim has been able to enable AEC organisations to bridge the gap between drone data and GIS results. Over to you, Ben.
Great, thanks for that kind introduction, Rob. As you are now aware, I'm Ben Sangster, and I'm HELIGUY's GIS lead for the development of drone solutions. It's a pleasure to meet you all today, so thank you for choosing to be here. It's certainly both an honour and a pleasure to introduce HELIGUY and share how our partnership with ESRI UK can assist the development of end-to-end solutions across the AEC industry. HELIGUY have first-hand experience working alongside some of the largest AEC organisations in the UK, including the likes of Balfour Beatty, Komatsu and Laing O'Rourke. And through such long-standing relationships, we have developed an understanding of the challenges that are faced on a daily basis. With the drone industry continuing to show exponential growth, we feel it is our place to streamline workflows in order to boost efficiency and increase safety, ever more so with the challenges COVID-19 currently presents. It's extremely pleasing to see two industry-leading organisations come together with the aim of powering growth and developing US technologies for the AEC vertical. My part of this presentation will provide an insight into the HELIGUY ecosystem and introduce you to the workflows that are now at the forefront of this partnership. I'd welcome any and all questions in our Q&A session following Nico's site scan demo. Over the course of the next quarter of an hour or so, I'll provide you with an overview of the services that HELIGUY have to offer and how in turn they can benefit an AEC organisation looking to implement drones into their already existing workflows. Our first few slides will introduce you to the company and our team behind the scenes. We will then move on to a couple of case studies, followed by some detail on the processes and hardware that we center our drone programs around. I'll then round up by giving our view on why we feel the HELIGUY ESRI UK partnership is so exciting. So, who are HELIGUY and what does the company do? HELIGUY was first established in 2006, identifying an emerging market, and have since grown organically through our determination to provide supportive UAS solutions to our clients. We have now grown to become a top 5 UAS provider and the largest within the UK. Given the UK's wide application of drones, we have developed a network of clients in the majority of global industries, including AEC, government entities, and media and production. If you weren't already aware, DJI holds around 70 to 80% of the global drone market share. As a result, we have tailored our workflows and support networks to provide assistance for these systems on demand, thus achieving a DJI Gold and Platinum status for supply and technical support. Our support networks consist of several key branches, including POC consultancy, workflow development, technical assistance, and training programs. It is clear that organisations benefit most when they have access to a one-stop shop for both supply and support, hence our approach. Over the years, we have accumulated a vast customer base in which we have supplied over 6,000 drones and trained up to around 3,000 pilots. With our success in the UK and overseas markets, we have also decided to branch out into the US. Also, as a result of our large customer base, our technical team can regularly field over 300 communications a day, alongside providing repairs and services for our clients' rental fleets. Within our technical team also lies a research and development department that is accustomed to providing integrated solutions and have provided tailored systems for many organisations, including the university institutions of Cambridge, Oxford, Edinburgh and Newcastle. Both practical and UK permissions training is central to everything we do, including delivering bespoke courses to organisations looking to use drones to benefit their already existing workflows. Alongside ESRI software, our training can now provide teams with a true and complete end-to-end solution. In order to provide an all-inclusive package, we've developed a vast partner network, and that has provided the basis to meet even the most adverse requirements. Over recent times, the requirements for collaboration in the AEC industry has undoubtedly expanded, most particularly with the need for integrated hardware and software solutions. And both HELIGUY and ESRI believe now is the right time to act. Throughout our team, we have over 50 years unmanned aerial systems experience that is complemented with a variety of industry-specific knowledge across industries including surveying, GIS, construction, inspection, and various UK forces. The HELIGUY team has brought together skills that can benefit our clients and the industries they work in. We believe in order to develop an efficient workflow, we need the expertise to understand the challenges they may currently be facing. As I have already alluded to, my role consists of developing drone solutions for surveying and construction clients, whilst the majority of my time is spent working with teams to develop workflows and provide hardware packages through site demos, technical consultations, training programs, and general account management. My background lies solely within the geospatial vertical, with 5 years experience alongside a degree in GIS. I am now proud to work for HELIGUY and excited to work alongside ESRI to provide the complete end-to-end solution for AEC organisations. HELIGUY's diverse team has enabled us to develop a long-lasting and secure relationships with clients across all major industries. As previously mentioned, Balfour Beatty, Komatsu and Laing O'Rourke are great examples of our relationship within the AEC industry. However, the stature of those can be matched with other key infrastructure accounts, such as Network Rail and National Grid, both of which have assembled entire UAS teams through HELIGUY's ecosystem of support and enrolled a series of drone programs out across the country. Likewise, we have also worked alongside many UK emergency services, who, unlike many US provisions, are reaching a level of maturity, having developed well-rounded and efficient drone-specific teams. Some of our closest relationships include Greater Manchester Police, Devon and Cornwall Police and London Fire. Interestingly, alongside in-house drone programs, HELIGUY have also worked with an abundance of drone service companies. As the requirement of aerial data has become more prominent, we have seen more drone service companies come through our system and develop successful businesses. Initially, this can start off as a hobby and develop into a business plan, or it can instead provide a USP for an accredited individual looking to use their qualifications to capture the market in a different way. Essentially, all of our clients have one common requirement, and that is to receive continued support throughout the entirety of their drone adoption process. We believe HELIGUY's partnership with ESRI UK will enable us to complete an already matured workflow, allowing AEC organisations to adopt with ease. As mentioned, Network Rail are an excellent example of our end-to-end solution that we offer at HELIGUY. They have undergone a series of POC stages with small drone teams in order to evaluate our different workflows across the wider business. These teams have evolved into several branches that now accommodate up to 60 drones and are utilising a wide range of applications, including mapping, inspection and project management. The 3 to 5 year framework that is currently in place will mean that HELIGUY provide full support and assistance throughout the entirety of the process, something they felt was key to success. Given the scale of their team and the importance of the project work they are involved in, HELIGUY training, technical and sales are in regular contact with their team almost every day. The Network Rail programme, as well as many others, also utilise our full stack lease agreement that has been designed to support drone teams with ever-changing requirements. Instead of an upfront purchase, HELIGUY offers a 12-month contract designed with flexibility to allow hardware to be acquired on demand. The scheme also allows for drone upgrades mid-contract to ensure clients are always operating the best hardware for their ever-changing applications. Balfour Beatty are another great example of a company we work so closely with. Initially coming to HELIGUY in 2018, we have developed a strong relationship and have collaborated ever since. Like Network Rail, they are also working on a number of key infrastructure projects that require drones on a daily basis and ultimately utilise the Phantom 4 RTK for their survey-grade datasets. This account, alongside all other AEC accounts, are ideally suited and would benefit greatly from the introduction of site scan into their workflow. The combination of hardware and software in one end-to-end solution makes on-site workflows easier, while also improving the quality of data shared between engineers and surveyors to make crucial decisions upon site work. Our mandate with all of our clients is to effectively provide UAS solutions tailored to their business needs. Although the specifics of each business may be very different, the process remains the same. In our experience, the best and most successful method is to understand the client's requirements is through a series of technical consultations. Understanding the critical success factors of a client's drone program provides the foundation for our team to develop a safe, secure, compliant and scalable UAS program. This is why HELIGUY puts DJI technologies at the core of its enterprise drone programs. On completion of preliminary considerations, our team will propose an approach to our client's UAS workflow. Given the nature of the AEC industry, requirements can often vary. Therefore, proposals may be complex or simple. However, both with the dynamic to scale up when needed. In order to aid acceptance and validate the benefits to the wider business, HELIGUY welcomes the opportunity to provide site demonstrations in order to help you envisage your drone program in daily application. Demos are key and can be provided at the initial stage of adoption or at a later stage when looking to expand your fleet with more advanced technology. If instead you want to get your hands on the hardware and evaluate it yourself, then all clients have direct access to our enterprise rental fleet containing hardware worth up to $500,000. Determining the best hardware for any US program is very important. However, software is just as key. Across all industries, software requirements can vary significantly. However, for the AEC industry, the most important requirements are photogrammetry and project management platforms. Our partnership with ESRI UK, with particular reference to SiteScan, now provides all software needs in one direct solution. What's great about SiteScan is that it provides the client with a complete end-to-end solution. SiteScan's flight applications provide the means for data acquisition, while the web application is an ideal platform to process and analyze the data without the need for a high-spec processing machine. All data provided by SiteScan can also be exported to ESRI's ArcGIS suite, as well as AutoCAD for further manipulation and analysis. With the adoption of both hardware and software, training and support are essential to ensure its success. Whilst the initial stages will predominantly focus on obtaining your permissions to fly within the UK, HELIGUY have training modules designed for specific industry verticals, including thermography, land survey, and photography. Our partnership with ESRI UK will now allow us to develop workflow training videos, inclusive of content to the ESRI HELIGUY workflow. Hopefully you now have an idea of the HELIGUY's collaborative approach. Over the next few slides, I will show you some of the industry's best suited drones to give you a feel of the data and the results that they can achieve. As you might already know, the data collected from drones for AEC projects can vary quite a lot depending on the requirements set out for the project. However, in many cases, drone data is not considered, usually as a lack of resources or understanding of what the hardware and what it can achieve. The first drone on screen now is the MAVIC 2 Pro, and is one of the most commonly used drones across our entire customer base. We regularly see MAVICs deployed for very different purposes, including photography, policing, and project management. However, the extent of its use reaches out far greater. It's a very robust and well-developed system, and although weighing just over half a kilo, it holds a 20 megapixel Hasselblad camera and can fly for up to 28 minutes, meaning data capture is high resolution and sites with larger surface areas can be covered with ease. The sensor, alongside a GPS system, provides the basis for imagery to be correctly georeferenced and used for further analysis. The data captured from the MAVIC 2 Pro can be processed and analysed with the SiteScan platform, meaning it directly coincides with the end-to-end solution our partnership with ESRI has achieved. The process begins with data capture through SiteScan's mobile app, then the imagery is uploaded to the cloud for processing, meaning the project management data such as 360 photos, site reports, and 2D orthomosaics can be visualized by any party with interest in the project. The next drone on display is the Phantom 4 RTK, and it is also equipped with a 20 megapixel camera, but instead specifically designed for photogrammetry. Instead of a rolling shutter which can cause unwanted blur, it has a global shutter, meaning the entire image is exposed in one clean shot. Clean data makes for much more accurate end results, and when developing 3D reconstructions and point clouds, it is important that your data is captured with optimal accuracy. As you may have noticed, the Phantom 4 RTK also holds an RTK module, and for those who aren't aware, this means that the position of the drone can be known to a higher degree of accuracy through a connection to a source of positional corrections. The source of these corrections may come in the form of a static base station, also known as the DRTK2, or from the internet derived from a grid of fixed base stations in the UK. Either way, your data will have significantly improved accuracy. On a study HELIGUY carried out with our partner TerraDrone, we found the 3D point clouds processed with photogrammetry data from the P4 RTK achieved an accuracy of 40 millimeters on average when compared to checkpoints gathered by land surveyors. This is a huge improvement from the accuracy that can be achieved from the standard GPS system on board the MAVIC 2 Pro. Although the MAVIC is an excellent management tool, the P4 RTK's camera is optimized for the provision of survey-grade data sets, meaning it is definitely the go-to drone for projects that require volumetric calculations, topographical surveys, 3D reconstructions, or coordinate reference system accuracy. Moving up the scale, we have the newest and most versatile multi-rotor within the UAS market. The MATRICE 300 RTK hit the market earlier this year with some incredible new features, setting it apart from its sister aircrafts in the form of the MATRICE 200 series. Whilst previous systems would only allow for up to 20 to 30 minute flight times, the MATRICE 300 can instead fly for 55 minutes, meaning larger sites can be covered with greater efficiency. It is also the first enterprise solution on the market with an IP45 rating, meaning that you can carry out survey missions in more adverse weather conditions. Similar to the P4 RTK, the MATRICE 300 also has an integrated RTK sensor that can be used to attribute RTK corrections to the GPS coordinates stored within the metadata. This means that it can then be used for high accurate survey grade missions with greater efficiency than the P4 RTK. As a result of the MATRICE 300 RTK's capability, it can also be used with the DRTK2 pictured on the right hand side. Until recently, all MATRICE 300 sensors have been tailored towards inspection purposes, with high-resolution thermal cameras and variable zoom sensors contained on the H20 payload that can be seen equipped on your screen. However, within the last 6 weeks, DJI have revealed 2 new sensors in the form of the P1 and L1. On the left, you will see that P1, a sensor specifically designed for high accurate photogrammetry. It holds a 45 megapixel camera and supports the drone's RTK functionality, meaning that survey-grade data sets can be captured with a significantly increased efficiency in centimeter-level geotags. If you compared the P1's resolution and the MATRICE 300's flight time with the P4 RTK, then you would likely find up to 10 times increased efficiency, which will make the MATRICE 300 the most powerful photogrammetry tool on the market. On the right, you will see the L1 LiDAR solution, released alongside the P1 in an approach to make the MATRICE 300 a complete surveying solution. Very much like the P1, the L1 has a 20 megapixel camera that can also provide photogrammetric data to survey grade level. However, the green reflective surface is where the most interesting data is captured. Unlike photogrammetry, LiDAR datasets can penetrate vegetation, meaning that digital terrain models can be developed, providing insight beyond the eye can see. Whilst LiDAR isn't yet compatible with SideScan, it is with the wider ESRI suite, most particularly ArcGIS Pro, which therefore provides the basis to manipulate and analyze both photogrammetric and LiDAR point clouds within the ESRI HELIGUY workflow. Aside from the 3 drones on display today, we have many others that are suited to various different requirements, but certainly from an AEC point of view, an RTK system with high resolution photogrammetry are the 2 most crucial factors. With any drone program, the hardware is a vital component. However, software is just as key. Over recent years, HELIGUY have identified areas of the market that require multi-corporation development, and we believe our partnership with ESRI UK is one of our best yet. The acquisition of SideScan as a photogrammetry tool provides a complete solution with capture, processing, and analysis, all possible within one interface. The reason myself and HELIGUY see such value in SideScan is because, unlike standard photogrammetry tools, SideScan is centered around the ability to share data depicting the evolution of a project through aerial mapping datasets. A couple of my favorite features are the timeline viewer, which is ideal for project management and comparing legacy datasets. Another is the way it structures organizations, meaning larger corporations can set permission levels, determining oversight between stakeholders within the business. This partnership is something we are all very excited about, as it feels like the final piece to the AEC puzzle. As we all know, ESRI UK provide essential geospatial software to the majority of key infrastructure verticals, but specifically to the AEC industry, we now have an ideal aerial workflow. That's all from me, so I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for their time and welcome any questions in our Q&A session following Nico's demo. My details will be made available following the webinar, so if there's any way which I can offer any assistance, please get in touch. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ben. That was great. Next up, we have Nico. Nico is based out of ESRI's Berkeley, California office. He started his career as a commercial pilot and flight instructor for manned aircraft. In transition to drones about 10 years ago. He joined ESRI last year as part of the acquisition of SideScan and serves as a drone subject matter expert on the imagery and remote sensing team. Nico.
Thank you, Rob. Hi, everyone. So SideScan for ArcGIS is ESRI's end-to-end cloud-based drone mapping software. And it's designed to digitize and analyze your sites and help your teams, whether they're in the field or operating remotely, stay up to date with their projects using accurate 2D and 3D imagery. We're seeing our AEC customers use drones throughout project life cycles, from modeling site conditions for planning and design, during construction for earthwork quantification, progress tracking, quality control, through project handover to deliver clients detailed as-built documentation, or even after that for facilities management and inspection. SideScan delivers accurate 2D, 2.5D, and 3D data outputs in the form of orthomosaics, digital elevation models, 3D point clouds and meshes, oriented oblique imagery, as well as thermal orthomosaics and high-resolution 360-degree panoramic photos to meet the varying needs of your teams. We've built SideScan to be a complete solution for your drone data capture, the fleet management, processing, management, and analysis of your data. The workflow can be broken down into 3 steps. First, the plan and capture step is performed by the SideScan Flight app. Using this app, users can quickly create flight plans that are relevant to the type of site or asset being captured. The iPad connects directly to most commonly used drones and sends the flight plan to the drone's autopilot for execution. After the flight is complete, the images are transferred over to the iPad and uploaded to the cloud via mobile or Wi-Fi connection. Next, the images are processed in the cloud and the data outputs are generated. When the processing is complete, users get an email letting them know that the results are available to be viewed in the web browser. In this web app, the user can not only view the data, but also perform some analytics. Measurements in both 2D and 3D, volumetrics, PDF inspection reports, or review of change over time are some of the tools that are available right in the browser. For advanced analysis or workflows that can't be done in your browser, it's easy to either download the files locally to your computer or to publish the datasets directly to ArcGIS Online or your enterprise portal. Additionally, if you have an Autodesk workflow, you can publish directly to your BIM 360 cloud from SiteScan or use the ArcGIS Autodesk connectors. So the SiteScan Flight app is a cloud-connected iPad app that allows project teams and drone operators to easily plan and execute autonomous drone mapping missions. Any flight that is done with the application is automatically recorded in the cloud, logging information about the pilot, aircraft, and batteries that were used to perform each flight. This is important for any organization that is looking to scale a drone program and maintain accurate records of their operations. Safety being a key priority for most AEC firms, it's also important for organizations to ensure that their pilots follow company and regulatory procedures. Drone program or risk managers are able to create custom checklists that their pilots will be prompted to complete before taking off, and their responses are automatically saved in the cloud alongside other fleet management information. The app being connected to the SiteScan and ArcGIS clouds allows drone operators to save and share their flight plans between project members. This ensures consistent data is captured over time, regardless of who is operating the drone. Additionally, this means that your teams will always be planning their flights using the most up-to-date information. Previously captured ortho maps are automatically overlaid on top of the satellite imagery, and both 2D and 3D data that you have available in your ArcGIS Online can be added to provide pilots with more context information before executing their flights. Here on screen, you can see an example of a vertical scan being planned around Oxford University's Radcliffe camera using a 3D mesh of the campus. For flights in areas with varying topography, SiteScan's terrain follow option, which uses ESRI's World Terrain Database, automatically plans flights that will follow the ground at a constant height. This not only improves safety, it also enhances the quality of the data being captured by ensuring that the ground resolution and image overlap are maintained throughout the flight. Let's take a look at an actual SiteScan flight with terrain follow. Here we're in the office planning a flight to capture an updated 3D model of a dam located in Northern California. Using the area survey flight mode, we simply trace out the boundary of the area we're interested in mapping and enable the terrain follow option. The pilot can preview the flight plan in 3D and is provided with estimated flight time, resolution, and number of batteries required to complete the mission based on the type of drone being used. The flight plan can then be saved for future use or for a different pilot to go in the field and execute it. If the flight plan will be conducted in an area without cellular coverage, offline base maps can be downloaded to the tablet. Once on site and connected to the drone, the pilot will retrieve the saved flight plan. After performing a final review of the flight path, the pilot will be prompted to complete the project's customized pre-flight checklist and record company-mandated items, such as the name of the visual observer. A safety briefing is then provided, and after the pilot has reviewed it, the app will perform automated system checks on the drone before letting it take off autonomously. The flight is completely automatic, and the pilot can monitor the drone's video live feed or visualize progress on a 2D or 3D map. Once the mission is complete, the drone returns on its own and images are transferred to the iPad. This can be done wirelessly or via an SD card reader. Images can then be reviewed in the field for proper quality and coverage before being uploaded to the SiteScan Manager cloud for automatic processing. So now that we've completed our data capture, we're going to discuss the process, manage, and analyze step of the drone data workflow, which takes place in the SiteScan Manager cloud. SiteScan Manager is a web application that gives the user complete control over the data that was collected by the drone and provides easy access to project teams to visualize and analyze the data. SiteScan includes unlimited data processing and storage of your drone data and offers secure cloud hosting either in the United States or in the European Union in Dublin, depending on the needs of your organization. One of the benefits of a cloud-based application is that everything is immediately available across your organization without the need to download massive files. And we've designed SiteScan Manager to be accessible to all your team members, even the less tech-savvy ones. The web interface offers 2D and 3D viewers and a variety of analysis tools that allow your team to perform the majority of common tasks that one would want to do with drone data. Overlays, measurements, reports, annotations, or sharing with colleagues can all be performed with little to no training. To make your drone imagery truly valuable, beyond providing an up-to-date view of the site or inspection photos, it's critical that your teams trust the accuracy of the data outputs. This is why we've built tools to make it easy to tie your drone data to surveyed ground control points. The association of your images to these ground control points, or GCPs, can be done through an assisted manual workflow, or it can be fully automated through computer vision detection of your ground targets. The processed outputs will be delivered in your project's coordinate system, whether it's a known coordinate system or a local one. To measure and validate the accuracy of your results, independent checkpoints can be used, and a detailed processing report is delivered for every flight to assess the quality of the processing. And for those of you using RTK or PPK enabled drones, such as the Phantom 4 RTK that Ben mentioned, SiteScan makes use of the enhanced geolocation accuracy of the images to provide higher accuracy outputs, whether or not GCPs are being used. Let's take a look at the results from our DAM mission and a couple other projects. So I'm now logged into my SiteScan Manager account through a standard web browser and can view the projects I have access to on a map or through a list view. Here in my San Pablo Dam project, I can see the 2 missions that have been completed on this site, including the one that we just saw being captured. For this missions, the results took about an hour and a half to process. I can view my photos, view the updated orthomosaic, can display elevation data. This can be shown as a heat map or as contours, which can then be exported for use in CAD or GIS software. I can use the timeline tool, which Ben loves so much, to compare my data from the 2017 flight to the most recent one and look for change over time. And I can also view my point cloud without the need to download any data. We have several tools available in both viewers. I can do height measurement, for example. We can also generate a profile view of the site very easily. This can also be exported as its own point cloud or CSV file. And then if I'm looking to export all my raw outputs, the export menu offers all the options to easily download those, create a share link to pass it to somebody else, or export them to BIM 360. And of course, we can also publish these outputs directly to ArcGIS Online with just a few clicks. Jumping over to a completely different project now in Japan, where a new water reservoir is being built by one of our customers. I can give you a quick tour of the site using the 3D mesh viewer. Here, we're looking to gain insights on the progress of ongoing earthworks. The project manager has uploaded 3D grading surfaces, which can be compared against our drone data to generate cut fill heat map. Users can define ranges to display the data in a way that suits their team's needs. And elevation deltas or volumes can be displayed on the map in a grid format, which can then be exported as a PDF. For detailed quantification of a specific area, I can use the volume tool to trace a boundary and display the area in 3D. I'll choose my comparison surface. Here I'm able to get detailed cut fill values in a matter of seconds, as you can see in the lower left of the screen. This is a process that would normally take a trained CAD user 10-15 minutes to complete, not including data download time, and is now achievable in just a few seconds by virtually anyone. Lastly, I'd like to take you to our newly completed Denver office building to show you some of SiteScan's inspection tools. From the 2D view or from the point cloud view, I can use the photo inspection tool to find all the photos displaying a specific point. Here, those most closely matching my current viewing angle are prioritized. I can then view photos in full resolution and make comments through customizable forms, which can then be exported as an inspection report. Now let's discuss the last step of our drone data workflow, disseminate and collaborate. Your architects or engineers can, of course, simply download the outputs for local use in their preferred CAD software. But you can also conduct advanced analysis of your data by leveraging the ArcGIS platform. In ArcGIS Pro, for example, our desktop application, where you can use our AI object detection tools or perform video analysis, but also through custom web apps, for dashboards, and through Esri's suite of field applications, or in your Autodesk environment through the Esri Autodesk connector. Let's take a look at a simple example of a web dashboard for inspection that leverages some of our SiteScan data. This ArcGIS custom dashboard incorporates a 3D scene view with our drone produced mesh. We also have a view on the right-hand side displaying the status of several ongoing inspections directly connected to and updated from our field apps. And thanks to Esri and Autodesk integration, we can also display, slice, and analyze a complete Revit model to tie in design and as-built conditions. So whether your organization is new to the use of drones or already has an established drone program, SiteScan for ArcGIS provides a complete system to produce, manage, and analyze drone imagery and grow your entire team's insights of their projects. I'd like to thank Ben and HELIGUY for participating today. We're very excited about the Esri UK and HELIGUY partnership and what it will bring to support our users. Thank you all for attending today, and I'll hand it back to Rob to conclude and end with a Q&A session.
Thank you, Nico. A truly impressive demonstration there, so thanks for that. I'd like to remind all of you that we do have, as Nico mentioned, a small window for a Q&A. That'll be coming up very shortly. So if you do want to ask any questions, please do type them into the questions panel. Any questions we can't get to, we will answer offline and follow up directly with yourselves. We will also be sending a link to this webinar's recording, so you can share it with wider colleagues or revert back to it if you yourself need to. And we've provided some links here on this resource page, which we think might be useful. So now for the Q&A. I'm just seeing a few questions coming in. Ben, I've got one for you here. So can you provide trials and/or demonstrations on site? So presumably this is for a construction site. Can you provide demos or trials at the customer site?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So demonstrations, we can provide them both at the HELIGUY HQ. We've got a fly-in field designated for providing demonstrations and training. So if there's anything which is needed in terms of wanting to see the drone in action, then we can do it there. Or if indeed you do need a demo done on site, and you want to see the full workflow in action, so the data collection through the processing, then that's something we can absolutely provide, and we welcome. I think that covers that, Rob.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, great. Thanks, Ben. See here. So Nico, probably one for you. So is this purely based on Apple products? Now, there's a whole different platform here as well, but there are elements that are just iOS, I believe. Do you want to just cover off what is and isn't?
Yeah, so the SiteScan Flight app is built for iPad OS. So the flight portion, if you want to use the SiteScan Flight app, does require an Apple device. But SiteScan Manager, being web-based, can be accessed from any device. And the use of the SiteScan Flight app, though encouraged due to its capabilities, is not required. So you can capture your drone imagery using different apps. For example, DJI has its own mapping application that comes with the drones, or if you're using a fixed wing drone that's not supported by our flight app, you can still use those images in SiteScan Manager, which is accessible from any device with a web browser.
Ben, I've got another one for you. So yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. Keep them flying in. So has HELIGUY had an experience with the use of drones for ecological surveys and assessments?
So for ecological surveys and assessments, not directly. I mean, from my previous experience, I have worked on an environmental agency project on coastal monitoring. So I do have some personal experience myself which I'm happy to share with anyone who sort of wants to lean on me on that aspect. In terms of something in form of a case study, it's not something we've got right now, but it's something we would potentially look at if it would be worth collaborating between HELIGUY and anyone who would be interested.
I'll add that's a pretty common use case for many of our SideScan customers. I know several customers in the United States, either government organizations or large engineering firms that are using drones and SideScan to perform ecological studies.
Nico, probably one for you. So is the software storing all of the drone and battery details and all of that sort of stuff and now active in the software?
Yes, it is. And so that's part of the fleet management component of SideScan. So alongside the checklist, any flight you conduct will have all the information about the drone being used and batteries recorded. That's an area we're expanding on heavily as we speak, and you'll be hearing some announcements early next year. We're expanding the fleet management components quite a bit to support all drone flights in an organization, whether they're flown with the SideScan app or not, supporting of tracking of pilot certificate expiration dates, drone insurance, drone registration, maintenance. So all these components, the ones I just listed, will be added early next year. But today, aircraft battery and pilot flight times are automatically stored and logged.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nico. Another one's just flicked in, and it was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you offline, but while it's come up, I'll ask it. So, Nico, I'm impressed in the flight checklist. Is this customizable?
Yes, the pre-flight checklist is fully customizable by an administrator. So you can have different checklists for different projects. You can tailor it to be a mandatory checklist or optional. If it is an optional checklist, we'll still automatically record whether a pilot has completed the checklist or skipped it, so an administrator can see that. And if it is a mandatory checklist, the pilot will not be able to take off until all the required fields are completed. And those fields can be checkboxes or drop downs or manual text entries.
Okay, great, thank you. Nico, it might be another one for you. So the web app, so you demonstrated that a little while ago. Can you appoint viewer users to that? Is there a unlimited number and associated cost? How does the viewer licensing work?
Yeah, well, when it comes to cost, I'll let our attendees discuss those with your team or their local ESRI distributors. But in terms of user permissions, there's different levels of permissions that can be granted to projects. So you can restrict access to only specific projects to certain users. And view-only licenses are always included and unlimited. So if you just want to give viewing access to users, they'll be able to view data within a project. They'll be able to make their own measurements, but they won't be able to make any changes to the data or save their measurements or annotations. And those are included and unlimited.
Excellent, that's good to hear. Thank you, Nico. Now, is it possible to generate 3D textured mesh using SideScan? And is it possible to split and mesh? Don't know if either of you know the answer to that one.
Yeah, I demonstrated a mesh when we were looking at the site in Japan. That was a 3D textured mesh that was being shown. In October of 2020, we announced that ESRI also acquired a German company called N-Frames. They produce some of the most beautiful and highest quality meshes in the industry, and that technology is being integrated in SideScan among other components of ArcGIS. And so soon next year, we'll be producing even higher quality meshes, but those are already available. In terms of the slicing and editing a mesh, that would not be done on the web. And I don't know on that one, I would say maybe we have to get back to you. I don't know if ArcGIS Pro supports slicing a mesh.
Sure. Okay, we'll have a look at that one and get back to that question. Thanks, Nico. Ben, can the drones with RTK sensors, I guess, eliminate the need for land-based ground control points?
Yeah, so I think that all really depends on the specification of the project. So a drone with RTK, if you set that off and use side scan, the accuracies you would likely be able to obtain would be around about the 40 millimeters mark without any ground control. And if that satisfies the job requirements, then that's great. And for a lot of occasions that probably would. But if you're looking to get down to the survey grade accuracies and you're looking for volumetric calculations, which are going to be directly comparable to the real surface, and you're probably going to be looking at perhaps 4 ground control points over an area of 200 by 150 as an example, just to ensure that you're going to get those accuracies down to a level you want and ensure that you're going to get that absolute accuracy in there as well, which often is important on an AEC vertical, in being able to tie the data sets to other data sets.
Cheers, Ben. We've got time for probably 1 or 2 more questions. One for both of you possibly. So what drones are supported with site scan?
I'll try to take this one off the top of my head. I mean, you can find a list of supported drones for the flight app on the web. SiteScan Manager for the processing supports virtually any drone as long as it produces georeferenced images, which is virtually any drone except one you might buy at a toy store. The SiteScan Flight app currently supports the MAVIC 2 Pro that Ben showed, the Phantom 4 series, including the Phantom 4 RTK, M200s, Inspire 2, the 3DR H520G. And we're currently implementing support for the M300 RTK that Ben showed, as well as the Auterion FreeFly Astro, which is a new US-made drone with a very high resolution 60 megapixel camera that should become available in the coming weeks. But yeah, if I missed any, please check the list on our website, but I think I covered most of it.
Okay, excellent. Sounds like plenty is the answer. Okay, so let's have 1 more question. The SiteScan Manager, is this hosted in Europe or is it hosted in the US?
It's one or the other. Now you have the option to choose when you're purchasing and setting up your account. By default, the original SiteScan is hosted in the US on AWS, Amazon Web Services, but we also offer, as of a few months ago, European hosting in Dublin. So all your data, both instances of SiteScan, the US and European one, are fully separate. So it's typically a choice that you'd make upon purchase.
Thanks, Nico. So I think we're going to finish there for the time being. If you do have any other questions, just drop them in and we will pick them up after the webinar. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank both Ben and Nico for their time and their presentations. I'd like to thank all of you for joining. If you do have any further questions, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a lovely day, morning, afternoon, or evening. Many thanks.